Why, hello, traveler. Oh, yes, it is indeed a chilly night tonight. You are more than welcome to come in and share my fire with me. Welcome, welcome. So, visitor, I happen to be in a curious mood tonight. I'm going to give you a description and then ask you a question. The term is Renaissance Man. When was the last time you heard that phrase applied to someone? Now, if the old forgetful guy remembers correctly, I believe the last time you could apply that term to someone and mean it in its traditional meaning, which is someone who had, maybe not a working knowledge, but a familiarity with the entirety of human knowledge. I would say, according to this vaguely remembered source, the last time that happened was in the 16th century. However, one never knows what will happen. If I may be so bold, I'd like to share with you more of my journey into monk life and the surprising results of my journey so far. In my fiction, I have character types or personality traits that will repeat because of circumstances that you have to read to find out. No, I'm not giving away that secret. Buy the book. Anyway, I have two characters that have an identical stance, and they are manifesting energy in the palm of their hand. And honestly, I felt this morning like that I had infinite possibilities, not only accessible, but in my grasp. I find it hard to explain to people, and I think people at work are actually a little freaked out because I'm literally telling them the truth, and it's like I say, when I think things can't get any better, the next day shows up. My awareness, presence, however you want to describe it, it's like everything. It's on a hyperbolic trajectory. I happen to see Hammerhand's excellent video. I guess he showed his whacked out rabbit, and he had the little deal about monk life. It's like, I gotta get a copy of that because I was like, yes, that is it right there. I mean, you have to watch that video And once I'm off my phone, I will include a link because it's that good. But giving you the Reader's Digest condensed version, he mentions things like focus, pride, discipline, self-respect, mental wellness, independence, willpower, and clarity of thought. Yes, these are the advantages that will accrue to you and, believe me, accumulate when you embrace monk life. Hammerhand is to be seriously commended for his outstanding presentation. Now, in another video, I described myself as, it's like one of my in-laws described to me back in the day. You know, now I'm not picking on him by saying, he was not a genius, but he was tough as nails, and he was like a cool alpha male who occasionally became a misogynist when he drank a lot. But he definitely was bona fide. That mean, absolutely. And he did it physically, but now it makes sense. Brilliant but unfocused. Yes, that is me. And I'll admit, well, my advantages are because I'm extremely well read. I was so introverted and shy that I read constantly. So I make no great claims to being a genius. I'm just lucky, and I have a very active brain that occasionally bubbles up something worthwhile to the surface. Now that I am embracing monk mode, I thought, man, why can't I focus enough to get something done? And I realize now it's not a curse, it's a blessing. It's an adventure. What am I going to learn today? A deep thirst for knowledge is a blessing. So, at the beginning of my day, sometime in the first couple hours, I posted a haiku which said, "Renaissance Man, infinite potential is in my grasp." By lunchtime, I posted something again. And I believe I said, "I do not follow standards. I set the standard, and then I go beyond." And this is not this is not ego. I mean, I'm not trying to take over the world. I'm old, slow, and tired. I have to take my time. Becoming universal overlord will have to wait at least a week. Sorry, I have other things I want to do right now. I mean, that's on the table, but, it's like at the bottom of the list, so don't worry. And it's not ego when you think about it. It's like, why am I going to follow someone else's standard? I was talking to one of my friends who also happens to be of the darker persuasion. And he says, it doesn't always make sense to follow a tradition just because your grandparents did it. Now, of course, the traditional meaning of liberal was that you were open to new ideas. But when you first, you know, decide to abandon ideas just because they are old, and then say people that adhere to them are archaic or mistaken or crazy, that's not a good look. But I've gone through many political expressions in my life. I started out life as a Democrat because my parents were. But from the first time I could vote, I charted a different path. Let's see. I voted for a black Republican in a primary in 74. Because it was like, was it? No, it was 76. Because the voting age had just been lowered, but I didn't make the cut. But I did vote for Ford in 76. Didn't like Carter for some reason, go figure. And I remember my stepdad said, I went and voted today, and I voted a straight Democratic ticket. And I was surprised. I knew him and my mom were Democrats, but I was like, oh, didn't you see the Republican, the black guy? He was a Republican on the ballot. He says, nope, vote straight Democratic ticket. And it was like, So, I have run the gamut from being a Democrat to a Republican to a libertarian to a constitutionalist to an independent conservative with strong libertarian leanings. Sure, I'm old school because I'm sort of canalized, You try to re-educate me, I'll either die or snap like a dry twig and have an honor guard in hell. But that whatever is your choice. But I'm the way I am, but why should I want to change you? Not being snarky, but in order to really care about, in order to really value your opinion, I'd have to care about you. I mean, not being insulting, but I really don't care what Beyonce, Jay-Z, or the nameless pop singers who were in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade say about jack shit. I'm on Facebook, but I'm not following celebrities. I'm on Twitter, but I don't follow anybody. It's an advertising venture for my videos. I have no time to follow celebrities. Oh, so, that reminds me. So, of course, if you're already charting your own course, you don't really care about stuff like this, but, everybody does this, so, let's face facts. Now, remember, here, in this place, you're in the brutal honesty regime. So, like I said before, I will not lie to the people I teach. No. You're a role model. You got to set a good example. Well, as good as you can. So, I had this thought about the A-list, and and it's so true when you think about it, and this is it distilled to its essence. If you have to ask if you're on the A-list, well, you're not on the A-list, bitch. If someone really impresses me, for, whatever. And I'll tell them, hey, you just made the A-list. And some people are surprised, and I tell them that it's like, no, you don't ask. The man will tell you if you're on the list. I mean, don't just stroll up, and get embarrassed because the guy's gonna look through his little clipboard. He may be the petty functionary with the clipboard, like the man said back in the day, but he is the man. And now, maybe if you're a master of the Las Vegas handshake, which I saw executed to perfection, it was awesome. Me and the ex-wife were there in Vegas. We were moving from California to New Mexico, which was, June 30th. It was brutally hot in Arizona. But we got to stop in Vegas, and we said, "Oh, Bill Cosby's playing. Wow, we should go see him." So we go up to the guy in the cool red suit with the tassels, and it's like, "Well, can we get in?" And he hems and haws and like, "Well, I don't know. You bitches don't look bona fide to me." So I just happened, I'm looking around, and I just happened to look at the right place at the right time, and the guy, he did the handshake, and he had a 50 folded up into a little square and tucked in with his thumb. Because that's what made me look, because his thumb wasn't up. It was tucked down, holding the bill. This pass was I didn't see shit. I happened to see him when he raised his hand, but you did not see green at all. It was smooth as shit, and the guy just with this cute girl sailed right the fuck on through. The talking part was done. It was freaking awesome, and I think it was a 50. I'm like, damn, son. So the ending of that, we ended up seated there, but it turned out the tickets were $50 a piece. So we bailed before we had to pay anything because the show hadn't started. So like, too bad. So let us return to the subject of discussion. Now we're into the afternoon. Yes, this is all today, and I'm actually, I'm trying not to listen too much MGTOW stuff at work. But, well, not, I do, but now I'm trying to temper it. So I started listening. I did a search for Renaissance Man MGTOW and listened to a bunch of videos from that. And I can't remember the one guy I ended up listening to a lot. He was very impressive. I will try to put a link to him too, because I found out I was like, and I'm already subscribed to him. I just hadn't listened to him. I have so many creators I've subscribed to that I don't get to listen to more of a fraction, but I have the variety for just such an emergency. So now remember I said, my my plans for Universal Overlord were postponed, so please don't panic when you hear this next part. I didn't post this because it was a little over the top. I didn't think people would take it well or understand it, but I was thinking, and it's like, man, I feel like the Ubermensch now. Or perhaps the Kwisatz Haderach. Not as reality, but potential. It's like, I feel that unbound in my mind, that the restraints have been removed, and I literally do have infinite potential. And I actually said to somebody, if I could focus a little harder, I feel like I could levitate today. And I wasn't bullshitting either. It it was an unbelievable feeling to, I'm there. I'm working steadily along and interacting with other people, and meanwhile, my brain is boiling over with all this information processing. It's just wow. So then I thought, you know, that now I think I may have taken a leap off the deep end here, but bear with me. I thought, what if, considering the technology we have at our disposal to help with the process, maybe we're enabling the next step in evolution. I mean, it is survival of the fittest when we come down to it. It makes you wonder, the experiments with making artificial means to produce human life. What what would that do to the culture? It's something to think about. I'm an old timer. I won't be around to see it, but man, I do hope some dedicated group of men are doing this to be able to break the power of the matriarchy forever. Yes. So I was thinking, wow, the next step in evolution, a new man. Homo rationalis, logical man. Now, I haven't really thought about that as like, well, I was lucky to come up with the name. I will let you decide what you think of that. And so, my friends, now we have reached the present. And I kind of surprised myself. Well, I guess it's not really a surprise. It's just a logical extension. Being old and forgetful, I decided a while back that I don't need to lie to people, because you think about it, it's a lot of effort to keep up a lie. And why? So, having decided a while back that being a teacher is what would be the most rewarding use of my time. And when I was a substitute teacher in school in the real world, I never injected my politics into my teaching. When I discussed politically sensitive subjects, I would make sure to say, this is my opinion, or I would say, I am not trying to influence you in any direction. I'm just giving you things to think about. And having said earlier that I would not lie to the people I teach, I uh I have now pretty much adopted what I call the brutal honesty regime. It is, well, uh, of course you can be diplomatic, and actually a great way to sort of lie is just not tell all of the truth, because you don't need to be crude, but be honest but diplomatic. Anyway, out of nowhere I've sort of adopted this, and I call this the 000 regime. And this is sort of the way I'm living my life now, with appropriate restraints of force. Of course. Zero lies told. Zero shit taken, and zero fucks given. And yes, I have used the very phrase you see on your screen before in public. Because I don't care. What are you going to take from me, as I said before? My stuff? I have nothing. If you take my money, I can still sleep on the ground. You put me in jail, you give me 3 hots and a cot. If you kill me, you take away my pain. I'm good either way. And look, and if you kill me, what's left behind is an empty shell. So, what the fuck can you do to me? Traveler, I am so sorry to have taken up so much of your time in this rant. Well, when you're out here and there's no one to talk to, well, when a visitor shows up, sometimes you get a little overwhelmed. But, my friend, I do want to thank you so much for stopping by and helping fill an old man's time on a cold evening. I hope you have thawed out a little bit. It's so hard to even imagine being where I am now from where I was even last year. Embracing MGTOW philosophy has literally saved my life after 4 years of drifting after my divorce. I cannot express enough gratitude for the providers who risked so much to post their content and have it available for me to peruse and to digest at leisure. I mean, there is no way I could imagine my life being as good as it is now without those fine gentlemen. So my friend, now remember to bundle up. I apologize. I wish I had some scotch to give you so you can help ward off the cold, but please be careful. Now, take your time, be safe, and please remember as you go on your way, some of the best days of your life have not happened yet.